So after we started thinking about the analytical thesis statement, I sort of put together how we fit it together, because it's really a two-part process, as I kind of hinted at in the video discussing the analytical thesis statement itself. The first part is about choosing that qualifier by letting us know that indicating its analysis and picking the comic book and the author and artist that we are dealing with. So I put it here: by analyzing, after close examination, by close examination, by looking closely. I just need to make sure that I have some sort of phrasing like that, because it is important to make that very clear to your audience. And then once I got that, the second thing was to, whatever the comic book I plan on reading, okay, in this case I chose Detective Comics number 27. Notice that Detective Comics is in italics. Number 27 by, that's not, Phil Finger and Bob Kane. That's the writer and the artist, okay? Now, that puts us in a position where we might have to say, where do I get the information for that, for who wrote and drew the comic book? Who is the publisher? Because I'm now being asked to get into this. Well, there is a place to locate this, all right? Here on the actual site where the digital comics are, you can find this by clicking on issue info. So let me go over here. Let me go back. I left that. Let me go back over here and let's take another look at the site, and let's go look at an example of this. It comes up during the reader section, so that means you're in the process of looking at the actual comic book itself. So I'm going to go in here, and I'll just do Action Comics number 1, a different number 1, but let's say this is the one I plan on reading right here, issue info. All right, so here it is. The thing that I care most about, it will be labeled differently, but I want to know who the penciler or artist is, and I want to know who it's written by. Don't necessarily care about, for this purposes, the inks or any of the other thing. These two right here, the writer and the artist, or the main artist, not the cover artist, even though that is the same person. And I don't really necessarily need the colorist or the inks, not to say that they're not important. But in this case, I'm doing Action Comics number 1 by Grant Morrison and Rags Morales. Okay? Period. Then, according to MLA, okay, I've got my other information. So let's say let's turn this to that. That's part of the thesis statement. Now, when I write this out in a works cited entry at the end, I'm going to do Morrison, comma, Grant, and Rags Morales, period, Action Comics number 1, period, DC Comics, comma, 2011, period. And we'll circle back to this when we talk MLA so that I can remind you of that. But you'll see here I've indicated this with a screenshot where to go. Now, once I have this, that second part requires only one thing. Having you indicate and have your indication of the analysis and what is it you're analyzing, you now need to tell us why. Okay, what is it we hope to get out of this? And like I said in another video lecture concerning the essay and the thesis, this can vary. So it says, what do you decide to reveal or find or point out to your audience? This will tie into your evaluation at the end. So we'll revisit this. And you need to answer for us this. What do you want your audience to know or understand about this comic book you are analyzing after they have read your paper? That's kind of the question you're asking in your head. Is there some sort of topic or interesting element that you want to make sure the audience takes attention to? And this, again, as I said, is flexible. This may change depending on what happens during the reading process.